Okay, hi there, it's Miss H, and we are just going to be getting into the next thing that we're going to be doing now that we have finished our book, So Be It. This book right here that we've been reading, we're going to go ahead and take a look into character traits. So we've talked about character traits before in class, and character traits are anything that a character possesses or has that makes them who they are. So kind of like their personality. So one key thing that you're going to want to use when doing your character traits activity is this character traits book that's going to be on Google Classroom for you. So this book is going to be used to help you for what we're going to do. So it's got different tabs on it. So it has happy and sad, nice, mean, lazy, hardworking, smart, silly, positive, negative. So say that I wanted to find a different word to use than happy, because happy is an okay word to use, but we need to find better words when we're describing our characters and things that they have or possess. So for happy, other words I could use when I go to my page here is cheerful, peaceful, upbeat, merry. These are all better words to use instead of happy. So keep this in mind as we talk about our character trait planning page and our short paragraph essay and kind of how this is going to relate to what we're going to be doing. So to start off with, the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to have this planning sheet to fill out. So you're going to want to make sure you put your name on it. Next, you're going to want to put the story. So just put the title of our story, which is So Be It. And the next thing that you're going to do is put the author's name, which our author is Sarah Weeks. So just make sure to put in those on those lines. And then the next part is pretty fun. You get to pick what character you want to write about. So we've had many characters in our book, So Be It. We've had Heidi, Mama, Bernadette, we've had Xander, we've had Roy, Ruby, Thurman Hill, Elliot. So you can pick from any of the characters you want. I would advise that you pick a character that you know a lot about, that's been in our story a lot. That way you have plenty of examples you can find of a certain character trait they possess, or that they have, or that makes them who they are. So this is where you would pick that character. So say you pick Heidi. You would then write Heidi in that character line right there. Then you're going to pick what character trait that person has. So you'd then think about Heidi and think about different things that she's done in the book, different examples we have, different things that make Heidi who she is, and you would pick the character trait that you think Heidi has. So for example, you could say that Heidi is lucky. So then you could go through and find different places where Heidi has been lucky. And we know there are many instances in our book that Heidi has been lucky. So you go back through and find those. Then what you're going to do is have examples from the text. So you would go back through your story. So on Google Classroom, go back through the PDF files of the chapters of the book and find examples of where that character has had that trait. So you would put your first example on your first line for your planning page, your second example on the second line, and your third example on the third line. So this is what your planning page is going to look like. It'll just be all filled out. The next planning page I'm going to show you is an example that you can use to create your planning page. So like we have here, one second, our story is So Be It. You want to make sure you're capitalizing your S and your B and your I for the title. And our character is Sarah Weeks. And our author is Sarah Weeks, I'm sorry. And then the character that we've picked for this example is Thurman Hill. And then the character trait we have picked is caring. So instead of using like nice, we use caring. So we use this character traits book and we flip to the tab for nice. And we found a better word, which was caring. Then what you're going to do, just like we have done, is go through the book and find examples of when that character possessed that trait or when they had that trait. So for Thurman Hill, if you go to page 172, which is in chapter, 15, the first example we have is Mr. Hill spoke kindly to Elliot and told him about the bird he saw out the window. The next example we have is Mr. Hill asked Ruby to put socks on Elliot because the floors were cold. So both of these examples are showing how caring Mr. Hill is for Elliot and in general. So Mr. Hill is very caring because he told Elliot about the bird out the window because he knows that Elliot likes birds. The next thing that he did was make sure that Elliot had socks on his feet because he didn't want his feet to get cold because he cares about Elliot and he wants to make sure that he is comfortable. So if you go to page 171 in your book, it says, "That's it, Ellie, come with Ruby," she said. "Wait," I said, turning to Thurman Hill. "If my mother was never here, how does Elliot know her word? He called me Sooth." "Ruby, take Elliot to the rec room," Thurman Hill said, "and put some socks on him, please. These floors are cold." So that's how we found the evidence for this example. We went back through the book and looked for where Thurman Hill was caring. So you can do the same thing if you can't think of exactly an example off the top of your head. You can go back through your book, look through the chapters. You can actually go back through your questions too, if that helps you think of any examples. So use your resources, use your book, use what we know about our characters so far, and any other things that can help you figure out what examples to use. So you'll need to have 3 examples for your planning page, and they have to be different examples, so you can't write the same thing for all 3. You have to have 3 different examples that show how that character is that trait or has that personality. So then, after you get your planning page done, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to write a short 1-paragraph essay. This does not need to be a whole paper or anything. It's just a 1-paragraph essay. It has to have at least 10 sentences, so you want to make sure it has that. So on Google Classroom, you're going to have this outline that you can see and use while you're writing your essay. So it says, use your character traits planning worksheet. That was the worksheet we were just working with, talking about the examples, the character, the title of the story, and the author. To write your 1-paragraph essay, use this outline to help you complete the essay. Make sure to include each part listed in the outline and use your planning page to help you. Okay, so the first thing it says is your essay needs to have 1 paragraph that has at least 10 sentences. So once you're done writing your paragraph, you want to go back through and count that you have 10 sentences. Next, you must type the title and the author of the book in the introduction sentences of your paragraph. So one sentence needs to be the title of the book is, and then put the title. Another sentence needs to be the author of this book is, and then put the author's name. So those are 2 easy sentences right off the bat that you have. The next thing you need to do is type the character that you picked and their character trait. So then your next sentence could be, I chose to write about this character, and they are, and then put the character trait that they have. So if it was going to be me and I had to write about Heidi, I could put, I chose to write about Heidi, and she is very lucky, or whatever character trait they have. So with Thurman Hill, our example was caring. So I chose to write about Thurman Hill because he is caring. And then so on from there. The next thing you must do is type about 3 examples of this character trait. Look at your planning page for your 3 examples. So don't write 3 new examples. You already had a planning page that helped you figure out those 3 examples. So go back to that and use it so that you can pull those examples for your essay. Next, each example needs to have at least 2 sentences typed with it. So you can state the example and then talk about how does that show that the character is caring, or explain that example a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about the scenario, however you want to go about it. And then you need to write at least 1 concluding sentence that wraps up the essay. So just something that you can say in the end to wrap up your final thoughts about what you've wrote about so far for your 1-paragraph essay, about the character's trait, about the character in the story so far, anything that kind of wraps it up. If you don't get to 10 sentences by doing all of this, just write a generic sentence in your beginning or the end talking about the book we've read and how it goes with your character. So, this is what you're going to use to do your character traits essay. If you have any questions, remember it's 1 paragraph with 10 sentences. Any questions at all, just make sure to contact Miss Rose and we can set up a Google Meets. Before we go really quick, I do want to show you how to pull up a Google Doc and start out your essay so that we make sure we're remembering how to do that. And it's going to be very similar, basically the exact same way how we did our President's Day essay, how we pulled up the Google Doc and we put in our title and our name and we started out by indenting our paragraph. So you're just going to go here to your blank doc, pull it up. Then you're going to go to up here. Oh, yep, you can start with the size. So we'll start with the size here. You want to make your title big. It can be a simple title such as you know, whatever character you want to write about, or character traits essay, or this character is this. Any kind of title you want to go with that goes with what we're talking about. Then you'll go to here and center a line, so then you'll type your essay, so character trait essay, for example. And then enter, and then you want to make your name a little bit smaller, and then by, and then it would be your name there. Just like that. And then once you've done that, you would hit enter a couple times, and then go back to your align, put your alignment back to the left, and then you're going to hit tab to indent, and see how Miss Rose is making her font size smaller. Since we're going to start typing our paragraph, you would hit tab to indent, and then you just start writing your paragraph. So that's how you would start your Google Doc, in case you just need a refresher of that. So that's all we have for this video. If you have any questions at all, if you're struggling at all, just contact us. We'd be happy to sit down and do Google Meets with you, help you figure it out. So good luck and happy writing.